Hey, it's Central Valley Real Estate and Home Improvement. I'm your host, Steve Walling. My guest for this segment is Carolyn Pierce. I wanted to look to make sure I got it right because sometimes I don't. You know, you see this gray hair, it means something. I'm not sure, don't remember, but yeah. Wisdom or a lack of memory, something. Anyway, Carolyn, we're going to talk about financially putting ourselves in a situation where we can buy a home or mortgage stuff, right?
Right.
Or
right.
something like that.
Well, what I do is I help people buy a home.
Why?
And because I think it's the best investment they can make.
Okay, that's a fair answer.
You know, we all need someplace to live, and I don't like to see people renting.
Mm-hmm.
I feel that they are just throwing their money out the window.
I've heard that rumor.
So I like to specialize in helping renters become homeowners.
You got a show and tell on that, don't you?
Oh, I do. I give this out. This is what I call rent money.
This is rent, okay.
It's shredded money.
Now, I'm not going to open this up because if I did, they'd make me clean it up. But, because I couldn't get her to clean it up, I'm sure. But this is just shredded money. And it really is real money.
It is real money.
And she told me I could take this home, and if I can tape it together, you know, I might find $1 in there.
Right.
But the thing is, this is an example of waste.
That's what happens to your rent money.
Mm-hmm.
You know, every month. You're just shredding it up and you have nothing to show for it.
Mm-hmm.
And we have great programs here in California that help people with down payment assistance.
Who's we?
And closing cost. Well, Movement Mortgage is the lender.
Okay.
But the programs are through the state agency that we administer.
But you are with Movement Mortgage.
I am with Movement Mortgage.
And I was trying to be kind of sneaky and get that in here.
Okay.
Movement
Thank
Mortgage.
you for mentioning Movement Mortgage.
And yeah, no, she's been a good. She's been a good sport as I've been picking on her. But you know, actually buying a home, you're right. It is something that is very important if you can make it important in your life, and a lot of people choose not to because they don't believe that they can.
Right.
But there are a lot of people that don't believe that they can that really can.
Exactly.
But they won't know that they can until they get a hold of someone like you.
Until they get educated.
Yeah.
Yes. And we're even having a workshop next Wednesday, September 4th.
Wow.
At 5:30 at the local restaurant in Clovis. And we're going to do a home buying happy hour.
Really?
Just to educate people on how to buy a home and that you don't have to wait to save up a lot of money to buy a home. You should buy a home now.
Well,
don't wait.
The price of housing, 10%, I mean, you know, you're going to need like $20,000, $30,000, right?
Nope.
No?
I can help people get into homes for as little as $6,000.
Really?
Yes.
Whoa.
And sometimes even less than that if we can negotiate a seller's credit.
I'm trying to get my son out of the house. Would you please talk
Have
to
him call me. Have him call me.
No, there's a lot of parents that have, you know, those kids that, you know, they're working. They say, Mom, Dad, I can't afford a place. But they can.
They can.
And
they can.
The market's pretty good. And if they can get into the loan in the market, then they can talk to someone about actually purchasing.
And they can start building that equity in their home and start building that net worth.
Yeah.
And that's
is that
what a
important?
home that is what a home does for you. It's
does,
like automatic savings, builds net worth. They are still projecting homes in Fresno are going to go up still 4.9% next year.
Next year.
So great investment.
Yeah.
We're not getting 4.9% in our banking account. So.
No, we're not. And if I look like I'm thinking how many homes could I buy between now and then versus putting, that's really,
great investment.
That's the appreciation they're projecting here.
Yes, they are.
Really?
Yes, they are. Yes.
That's not a bad thing.
No, it's not at all. It's very good.
And
you can't find that across the in most places across the United States.
No, you can't, unless you happen to go to the Bay Area, but they're already out of the market.
Right.
You know,
those are crazy prices.
Yeah.
And that's the nice thing about Fresno is it's still very affordable. We're one of the most affordable places in California.
I've heard that rumor.
To buy a home.
You know, and I don't understand why. It's a nice place to live.
I love it here.
You know,
I love it here.
It's a great place to live. And
it's our secret.
Yeah, I know. You know, I didn't used to know that at one time. See, I was from Southern California, and we'd blast through Fresno. It was just a blip off the 99, and you know, up you'd go. But you know, my wife and I have been here in the area for almost 30 years now, and you know, there's so much here. I mean, there's an art community, a music community. There's growth. There's light industry for jobs. There's you know, good educational facilities for kids, or you know, the older kids if you want to boot them out of the house. It's just a great place to live.
I agree.
And
I agree.
You can get from here to the coast or here to the mountains in very short order.
I agree.
So yeah, okay, I
I
can
love
see
it
why
here.
someone would want to buy home.
Right. And if you can't afford to buy a home somewhere else, Fresno's a great place to come and buy that home and start building that equity.
Carolyn, tell me about Movement Mortgage. How long have they been around?
We've been around about 8 years.
Okay.
We're in almost all the 50 states.
Are you really?
We're a very different lender, and that's why I chose Movement Mortgage.
All right, tell me about it.
Other lenders, they have the underwriter at the end of the loan process.
Yeah, okay.
That's a little too late. What I love about Movement is the underwriter is the first one that takes a look at the application and the loan.
Oh.
And I can get the underwriter to approve on a loan even before a property's found. So
now that's kind of a good bargaining position to be
exactly.
in. Exactly.
That borrower gets a letter from the underwriter saying you were pre-approved.
Okay.
So
I can go and I can grab my realtor and put him in a chokehold until I have power. And that's what it is. It's buying power.
It
That's
helps
awesome.
when there's multiple offers.
Yeah.
And you know what? It gives confidence to the buyer that nothing's going to go wrong at the end. That's the worst thing in the world.
And things do happen.
It does.
Yeah.
When the underwriter's the last person to see the loan.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that about Movement Mortgage, is that the underwriter's looking at it first so that when they do find a home, then it's smooth sailing through the escrow process.
And you said Movement's in all 50 states.
Yes.
So it's not just a backroom mom and pop shop.
Right.
It's
right.
They got some, as they say, gravitas.
Yes.
They got
National
some,
company.
Yeah, that's
right.
good.
And it's a Christian-based company, a private entity.
Okay.
And I appreciate that because they give back as well. They have a foundation, they have schools.
You bet.
So it's not just about doing loans, it's helping out communities.
It is a state of consciousness.
Yes, yes.
Okay? And that is one of the blessings of this country. And that's a story for another day, but it's awesome. And that's good.
Yes,
And
yes, I appreciate
was that one of the reasons why you chose that?
That was one of the reasons.
That's pretty good reason
I was
to
very
choose.
inspired when I heard the owner of the company, Casey Crawford, speak about his passion and his mission.
Awesome.
And I said, that sounds like the kind of company I would like to work for.
And obviously, they felt you were the kind of person they wanted to have work at their company. So I guess
So far.
it was a win-win situation.
Yes.
Okay, I want to revisit. You have this lending seminar going on for first-time buyers. When?
It's next Wednesday.
Okay, next Wednesday
It's
would
September
be
4th.
September 4th.
And it's at 5:30.
Right after Labor Day weekend.
Yeah.
Okay, so don't party too hardy so that on Wednesday you can make this, because this could be one of the most important decisions you make in your life.
Yeah, free to attend.
And it's located where?
At the local restaurant in Clovis. It's on Clovis Avenue. It's 401.
Is that the
Clovis
name of the
Avenue.
restaurant?
It is. It's called The Local.
The local restaurant?
Yes.
I'm glad you clarified that, because,
Yes.
people be driving, Where's the local? Okay, but it's an actual place called The Local Restaurant.
Right,
They got,
right.
Is there food in it again?
We are yes, it's food. We're going to
Yeah.
have some wine. That's why we're calling it a happy hour.
Oh, okay.
We're going to have some munchies.
Ooh, okay.
So it's going to be an enjoyable experience as well as an educational experience.
Great.
Focusing mainly on first-time home buyers.
All right, that sounds good.
Thank you.
Well, Carolyn, I want to thank you for being with us, and actually, you were a good sport today. That,
You weren't too rough on me.
Yeah, well, come back. We'll have more fun. I'm sure.
Okay.
No. I mean,
Thank
next
you.
time next time Movement's got something going on, or if there's a big shift in the market that you want to share with, potential people, or you just want to look good on camera,
Well, I'd love to help talk about credit because
Okay.
that's something I also help people with.
Yeah.
And I would love to give some tips and some
That's
suggestions.
important.
It's critical in a mortgage.
Okay.
Is your credit. So I'd love to talk about that. Another thing most people don't know about.
Sounds good. Well, put it on the calendar.
Okay.
And come on back, and we'll talk about credit.
I will.
Yeah.
I will. Thank you.
Maybe. We'll see when we come back.
Great.
She's got some good stuff. It's Movement Mortgage. It's a local restaurant out in Clovis, and I'll see you when we come back.
Here's what happens in the old model. You go to your lender, loan officer looks at some version of the package, maybe pulls credit, they issue a pre-approval letter. Really what's happening there is that loan officer is giving you a pre-approval based on their best guess. But the truth is they're not an underwriter. So at least 10, 20% of the time, there's an honest mistake that doesn't get identified until much later in the process. So now the poor realtor is out for 3 weeks, 3 months, 3 years, however long it takes, looking for a house for the client based on the loan officer's best guess. And finally, once they get into escrow, the lender starts to do their job, springs into action, and starts doing all the heavy lifting. They order the 4506T to make sure the IRS transcripts come in, to make sure the tax returns are legitimate. They finally verify the down payment. They dig into the bank statements. They make sure the wife's not on maternity leave. They make sure the husband's not on disability. The lender, in the old school model, does all of the stuff that burns time. And now, 10 to 17, sometimes 20 days into the process, the underwriter, the person that actually has the authority to approve the loan, finally looks at the loan. What they find? They find the mistakes based on the loan officer's best guess. Anytime realtors have heard the excuses, well, the guidelines change, or, yeah, we missed this, you got to put down more money, or let's try another lender and shop this over to another bank. All that really means is the good intentioned loan officer made a mistake that's now been caught by the underwriter. Now you have anywhere from 10 days to 2 weeks to 2 months where everything has to be restructured and reworked because of the fact that the loan officer made an honest mistake, and you do not have a referable experience at the end of the transaction because the client is frustrated. The client did not get served. Fast forward to Movement Mortgage, founded in 2008, completely re-engineered the process and wanted to do things differently. What we do, we still do our pre-approval. We want to be engaged with the client and tell the client and the realtor, hey, more or less, you're approved up to $500,000 with 10% down. However, why stop there? In our system, we want to send the file directly to underwriting today. And what that means with Movement Mortgage's process is we will get the underwriting back, usually in 6 hours or less, and before the realtor even potentially meets with the client to start talking about neighborhoods or much less driving them around to look at houses, we're going to have a fully underwritten loan. And I love it because we don't stop there. Our processors are amazing. They go to work and they have what's called a 7-day process. And they are bonused based on how quickly they can process a file. If they close the file out in 5 days, great, they get double their bonus. If they close the file out in 7 days, they get their bonus. And if they miss a closing date, they start to lose bonus on that file and potentially other files. So our processors are highly motivated to get the job done. So now what do you have? You have a file that's been fully underwritten, you have a file that's been fully processed, and before the realtor even starts to make offers for the client, we have a completely approved loan signed, sealed, and delivered. It's a better system. It's a better way to service our client because everything that is normally done in the old school process has been done upfront by Movement Mortgage, our underwriters, and our processors.